Welcome to Academy Live. Our guest today is the one, the only Ryan Walsh.
The co-founder of Pax8, our Chief Strategy Officer, Mr. Ryan Walsh.
Thank you. I got to tell you, coming from our basement startup days to hosting one of the largest MSP events in the world, this still overwhelms me. It's surreal. From the very beginning, this is what it's been about, building something bigger than us, together.
As Chief Strategy Officer and Channel Chief, Ryan works in close alignment with the CEO in executing the strategic vision for Pax8. He helps formulate, facilitate, and communicate the company's strategic initiatives to both external and internal stakeholders. In his role, Ryan's focus is attracting new strategic constituents into the Pax8 Marketplace and works with existing partners to optimize their experience with Pax8. Ryan is also responsible for monitoring the market conditions and trends and helps define the implications for the company. Ryan is also responsible for upholding and promoting the Pax8 core values across the company. And he's overall just a great guy. And you might know from on stage, he's also a great dancer. So we're really excited to bring him on. Ryan, come on. We're so excited to have you as a guest on the show. Today, we're going to be
Yay!
talking all about the marketplace. So we want to jump right in with you. Can you tell us what is the marketplace?
Yeah, let me give you a little backstory behind that because I appreciate the description of who I am. The thing I'm most proud of is that I would refer to myself as I was a basement boy for Pax8. So we were, as a co-founder to this, is like, why are you dealing with a marketplace? What were you trying to do? Why would this important to go do? And I want to give that context because I want to describe what is a marketplace. But the why behind that is we believe there had to be a better way for our partners who serve small businesses to help them with the technology that they were using to be competitive, to differentiate themselves. I mean, we've been focused from the beginning to serve the underserved, and that meant those small businesses as well as those partners who were acting as a strategic business and technology guide for those customers to help them put together this complexity to achieve, a business outcome. And so a marketplace is where that happens. And now typically when people think about that is, oh yeah, I get it. A marketplace is where products are bought and sold. We extend that. So it's a little bit different when we think about technology products, or you might hear them referred to as cloud-based products or software that runs on the internet. And that's what we focused on with our marketplace. You used to buy things and have them shipped to you or download and you install them. The benefit of a cloud-based or an internet-based software is that you just get to turn it on. And so a marketplace is really that place that customers would go to order their products. The one difference in terms of the call out about what we're excited about talking about and why our marketplace is different is that the way you used to think about a marketplace might be like historically, traditionally, like a Sears catalog. You have new products to sell. That might be a Microsoft product, Office, Microsoft 365. It might be a security product. But like a catalog of old, you would go to a picture of those products and you would pick the ones you want and dogtail it, and then order it. And what's different now about what marketplaces need to be is they need to be really easy, not only to find but to get delivered or access as well as build. And so this was the marketplace we wanted to provide and build, and a marketplace that represents the technology marketplace of the future. So no matter what different products are going on to that marketplace, we wanted to be the ones to help unite that ecosystem of people who are buying, managing, or selling those products. Does that help?
That does help.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I'm actually
Like,
glad
if
that
I
you
were at
mentioned
home,
the buyers
my
and the
grandma
sellers
might
'cause
say, "What are you talking about?"
She would know the
yeah,
Sears part that you're talking about.
Well, I think the one thing that gets in the way when you're talking technology, and I think this is the cool thing about what's happening now and where we're focused on our marketplace, is that, as you described what I was focused on, I'm focused on trends in the market. And what does that mean? That means what's going on with small and medium-sized businesses? What types of products do they need and why do they need them? And then who helps them with that? That's ultimately what our marketplace was built to make that really easy to unite those. We would refer to them as customers or stakeholders. And there's one other, there's the vendors who are selling the products that are designed to help that small business um, grow their revenue, reduce their expenses, or reduce the risk of operating. But we asked ourselves and we asked these customers, well, what do you really want? Typically, it's not, I want product A or product B, because in many cases, they don't know the details of those products, but what they want is an outcome. Uh, and so that's where our partners come in. They're the ones that have to understand these products to put them together. And our marketplace is designed to make that really easy for them to find them, to sell them, to buy them, to build them, to support them on behalf of their customers. And that's what we're focused on. So, the interesting thing about a survey that we did, we said, hey, what are the motivations of small businesses when they use these technologies to improve their business? And what they told us was number one, they wanted to maintain their competitiveness. And number two, they wanted to make their employees more productive. And so that really resonated to us. You might think of a lot of things. I want to buy the cheapest thing, or a name brand thing. But ultimately, what we're seeing is they want an outcome, and it's business oriented, right? So that's where our partners come in, and our marketplace was designed with our partners, managed service providers, outsourced IT providers, to be the hero in this ecosystem because they're the ones that are actually um, providing the bridge from the vendor's products to that customer and help them assemble that and get the results that they want.
So I'm curious to know, looking back. I mean, founding. I mean, you've been here the whole time in the beginning. I'm curious to know, kind of in this journey, what the vision was, kind of what it is now. Like, tell me a little bit about the roadmap of kind of getting to this point now where we are the marketplace is really what we are. How did that kind of come into being? How did that come into focus?
Yeah, no, it's a great part of our story because for me, my personal journey was I represented two of these stakeholders in my career. So I started as an IT system integrator. And so I would work with customers who would say, I want to buy a product and I want you to set it up and implement it for me. And then I was with a born in the cloud vendor that was trying to reach small and medium sized businesses. So Pax8 was born through those experiences. And what was in the middle there was as a vendor who was trying to reach small businesses and solve a security problem. Um, we we were we realized that partners were the one to deliver that solution. So a lot of vendors might try and sell direct to a small business, but typically small businesses don't have the resources or the expertise to install, set up, configure, and join with everything else. And so when I was in the born in the cloud product or vendor side of things, we started interacting with traditional distributors. They were the ones that would ship computers or they would mail software to be installed. They got into this cloud distribution world. And from the vendor side of things, we felt like that was broken for this new way of delivering products, which is all internet based. And so instead of putting it in a truck, we felt like what you needed to do was assemble all these products together to make it really easy, fast, convenient, and then deliver it to one customer. And that's where we said that's not really distribution, that's really a marketplace. A marketplace is where those things can come together. And what was unique about what we wanted to do, we called ourselves that in our early days. We called ourselves a cloud commerce marketplace. And when we went out and talked to our partners, they had no idea what we were talking about because it was a little new at that time. And so as the market has evolved, and we've been what we are with many factors happening, like, Amazon Marketplace coming into play, the pandemic pushing a lot of consumers to buy via a marketplace. Think what happened that we would refer to it as that B2C experience drove a lot of exposure to businesses that said, you know what? Buying that way is really convenient and easy and simple for me. I want to do that in a B2B way. And so that's when marketplaces as a term for our ecosystem of technology vendors, outsourced IT providers, managed service providers really sort of came together, and we could finally, be who we were and tell people that's what we were focused on and help unite that ecosystem to achieve the benefits that they wanted. Does that
Now,
help?
Ryan, that does help a lot, I think. It helps to understand
Mhm.
where we're coming from, and we know the marketplace itself has changed a lot over just the last few years. So, we want to talk to you about some specific elements of the marketplace. So, let's start with storefronts. Can you tell us what are storefronts? What do they
Yeah,
look
this is
like?
the
What do they
exciting
do?
thing. This
Yeah.
is the exciting thing. So as I described our history, our evolution, to where we are now, um, what marketplaces now there's a lot of marketplaces. So now the question becomes, what makes yours different? And, with the help of our CEO now, who was our CTO, Scott Chaston, he came in with a vision that said, this really has to be different than what we're used to in the past. And what we were used to in the past, I use that Sears catalog, it was something static. If you put a product on a page, you had to find the page. And there might have been an index in the back, but you kind of had to know what you were looking for. In a lot of cases, small businesses don't have time to really find the specifics of a vendor, you know, two different vendors serving the same different product. So that really was evolving to be something that wasn't really the way in which small businesses wanted to buy. And it wasn't also ways in which um, managed service providers wanted to buy either. Because as we were adding more products into this product catalog, it became harder to find. So we evolved and we took our marketplace to another level, and that introduced new capabilities that would reveal what a new marketplace needed to be, and it needed to be data driven, and it needed to be easier in terms of how you find things with that data. And so storefronts were born out of this new way of doing things. Other features called Opportunity Explorer were another example of what a marketplace needs to be, which is really something that's tailored to the specific needs of a customer. And what's important about that tied to the stat that I raised is, what does a customer want? They don't necessarily say to you, I want to buy that product. What they say is, I want to be more competitive. So how can you assemble a solution, a technology stack of products that can help me be competitive, grow my business, better serve their customers, or reduce the risk from security threats, those types of things? We added a feature called Opportunity Explorer that would reveal product gaps for that managed service provider serving their business, their small business customers. So when those customers had different needs, these managed service providers could uniquely provide a recommendation on the products and the solutions that they believe would satisfy that customer's needs. And that is what a marketplace of the future needs to do. It needs to be easier. It needs to be faster. So many people had the Amazon experience where it was just convenient. We had to take that and then push it forward into new areas. And that's where Opportunity Explorer came about. Storefronts came about because we recognized that because of a lot of B2C experiences with marketplaces, customers wanted some degree of self service. There was confusion around that. confusion in that, well, if a customer wanted self-service, they may not need that outsourced IT provider. But what we've learned is that was not the case. They wanted the ability to discover, search, look for new solutions. And then when they're further down that road, then they would reach out to their managed service provider and get their recommendation and then help to deliver that. And that's where our marketplace is designed to do that, to make recommendations, place those product recommendations on a digital shelf uniquely tailored to each partner who could deliver that to their customers and then ultimately deliver it instantly. Those are just two examples of features that are in the marketplace that represent what a technology marketplace of the future is doing.
Excellent. Yeah, and I know let's take a look at some of these graphics that tell us a little bit of that story around these specifics. So, Ryan, what are we looking at?
Yeah, this gets me so excited. What this is showing you is the adoption of Opportunity Explorer. When we first introduced it, a lot of partners were saying, I'm not really sure whether I would use it. I'm not sure what it is. And we were out there saying, hey, we encourage you to go into this marketplace, and we referred to it as a new marketplace experience, and check it out. And Opportunity Explorer was going to make it was going to make product recommendations using different lenses. So it would be focused specifically on a customer or focused on their security posture. What this is showing you is the adoption of Opportunity Explorer. And when we first started, it was almost like you invited uh, something new into your house, and you were looking at, you didn't want to touch it yet. Well, I'm excited about this. If you look at both of this is reflecting visitor overview. So OX stands for Ox or Opportunity Explorer. And it's showing you how many visitors are coming in, external visitors. And so when you see in a monthly basis, both the chart below is reflecting what's happening on a week-to-week basis. So we're tracking um, monthly average users, weekly average users, daily average users. Those are the acronyms in there. And that's how many people are coming in today. This is important for everyone to take a look at, is that this has grown significantly. And you can see what the daily number is. And when you add up the fact that there's thousands and thousands have come in here, that tells us that if you're a partner wondering whether you should use this or not, this chart is showing you that progressive partners are using this to change their business and take advantage of this powerful tool so that they can grow and maintain relevance with their customers who clearly want some guidance. That's super exciting to me. And I think we have a stat on the number of storefronts. So the precursor to the storefront is really Opportunity Explorer. Hey, what products or solutions am I not looking at that I should look at based on analytics, AI, machine learning that can suggest something for me based on the mix and the purchase behavior that we see in our marketplace. If you go to the storefronts, this is another thing that's exciting. Look at those numbers, similar, thousands of users coming into storefronts. When we look at this, again, what this is, it reflects the adoption of partners who realize that they can not only differentiate their firms, they can maintain competitiveness by giving customers what they wanted. And if a customer comes into a storefront that you gave them, and again, this is brandable by our partners, our technology, they get to use that to provide what those customers need, which they wanted some degree of self-service. A storefront is the way to do that.
I know at Beyond in Berlin in October, we talked about the custom products for the storefronts, and that was a bit of a game changer.
I'm proud of that. I'm really glad you raised that, Rex, because when we launched this, we told everybody that we have our ear to the ground. We're like, hey, look, we're listening to you. So we're going to launch these features, and then we want to hear from you. How's it working for you? How could we make it better? And that's just something that's going to be always on. We have a dedicated group that's maintaining user experience. And the first and the strongest feedback that we got is we love everything that you've introduced, but when we launched it, uh, we had something called Solution Builder, which allowed a partner to put together a solution of these products and their services on that digital shelf. But if it didn't include products that we didn't have, They said, could you add that? And that's what Rex is asking about. And that's where you could provide custom solutions. You can put whatever is on the digital shelf, whether it's on our catalog or not, and you could make that available to your customer. Now, the importance of that is that was really supporting this single way in which a partner can interact with their customers. Because if you think about it, if we only had our products and if we were missing something that was new or something that was not on that list, that might be a reason why you couldn't provide additional value. And so when partners told us that, we said, absolutely, we'll let you have the ability to do that. And so that what that does allow customers to see the full suite of what they have. There is a different experience if that product's not tied to our marketplace because we really locked in on easy and convenient. So easy and convenient means when you ordered it, you say, I want that. We instantly give it to you. We call that provisioning. And then we also take all the billing associated with what you bought and we put that in one place, one bill, so that you could send that to your customer. And that's what we found that they wanted. And so it's a great demonstration of not only value add, but also listening to customers and what they wanted and taking advantage of this marketplace.
Hey Ryan, I heard Nick Hetty talking about a stat. I don't know if you can recall what it was, but it was something about partners that are using the storefronts are seeing some pretty exciting revenue growth.
Well, this is super cool. It was partners who are using storefronts, they increased their self-service revenue by 35%. And if you think about that. That could be a touchless experience. So for a lot of partners, and that's growing, by the way. So think about this. If your customer said, I want a self-service experience, you gave them that storefront to go look around. Some of them are like, yeah, I think I know what I want because my partner put it on the digital shelf and I want to order it. That's what we're talking about. Self-service revenue is it was touchless because you made that storefront available. And this is something that we're talking a lot about is that what customers, new buyers want. They want a self-service experience, but if you lean into it, it's like, what else do they want? They want the convenience. Some of them just don't want to talk to a sales rep. And so self-service revenue really reflects the fact that, look, they could do that. They knew what they were buying. You're providing pretty good service or excellent service. You put something on a digital shelf and they bought it. And that is just win-win for everybody because they did that without having to call you, but you curated that solution and put it on the shelf and it gave them what they wanted. That's a promising stat and it's growing.
I want to touch something you said about, I- the way we have partnered with our partners. I don't know how to say it without a lot of alliteration there, apparently, but guiding them through some of this because the the buying experience is changing. And I think about you kind of introducing partners to new ideas or concepts and how to help them navigate the changing environment and your role, kind of what are the trends and going on. Can you talk a little bit about what you see is like how buying experiences and the new generation of buyers is changing and how that's affecting our partners?
Yeah, it's something that we're telling partners to absolutely pay attention to because you might not be seeing it, but what's happening is um, the next generation of of buyers, companies, newly formed companies, are tech savvy, and so what they wanted from the service that our partners provide is different than the prior generation. We've experienced this over time, but this is worthy, especially worthy of paying attention to, because it will require a change or an embrace of new techniques, new tools like marketplaces to satisfy that need. And so what we've seen is that newer buyer, millennials, Gen Z, they're very comfortable with a digital experience and they expect it because what it gives them is anytime access. They're tech savvy. Um, they're cloud first or internet based software first. They're very comfortable with signing up for subscriptions and getting it exactly when they order it for exactly the amount that they want. No longer would you buy something and not have the right quantity. I'll buy a little bit more just in case. You're not doing that anymore. And when you think about how AI is being exposed to that buyer and what that's going to mean for them, um, you really have to stay in front. That's why it's important that we share. Our mission is to be the technology marketplace of the future, which means that we have to be thinking about what's next. And to think about what's next, you got to attract new buyers, and we're doing that. And so we're telling and bringing this message to our partners that you pay attention to this, be prepared to change and transform your businesses. And the good news is we're going to be right by your side to help you do that with a powerful marketplace platform that will support you in that journey. And then obviously this whole thing that we're doing right now, our enablement, our way to sort of ride ride by your side to help you take advantage and evolve and transform your business. That's what we think about every day, 24/7. And so this is a heads up that says, no, really, you really have to pay attention to what these new buyers want. You like
Yes,
that, Rex?
yes,
I do.
definitely. And I'm glad you brought up AI, Ryan. One of our last questions is, how is AI being used in the marketplace? We know it's being used, maybe we're not sure exactly how. Can you speak to that just a bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is something that's so important. And I think that I'm inspired by having a technologist as a CEO with Scott Chasen. You're going to read about, you're going to see if um, from our events, we're talking about that what's next, and AI agentic future is what that is. And what that means is it's a whole different way in which small businesses will be able to leverage. And I've never seen this before, but what I've heard is technologists are saying this is a once in a generation technology. And what that means is it's transforming how businesses are able to do what I said from the beginning. How are you going to compete, improve your productivity, and more than that, adapt faster, respond quicker. That's what this AI technology is allowing small businesses to do. And so for partners, they need to have confidence that the marketplace that they're working with, ours in particular, is focused on how we incorporate AI into the foundation of that marketplace and how both their customers and they can take advantage of AI and AI agentic future, and rest assured that we're staying in front of that trend because I just can't emphasize enough for those that are immersed in this technology. They're saying it's changing so fast they can't believe it, and they're the ones that are immersed in it. So it's important that we convey um, AI and transforming with AI is a key pillar for Pax8 and will continue to be in the future given its importance to our industry and our ecosystem. And we, by the
Ryan,
way, we will continually talk about when somebody says, well, how do you do that? We're going to talk about it. We've incorporated it into Opportunity Explorer, but that's just every time you can ask that question and we'll have an answer. So I hope the audience does, and we can show and tell.
Ryan, you've been an amazing guest. Thank you so much for being on the show. Is there any last thought or anything you'd like to leave our audience with?
Use a marketplace to compete and transform your business. Don't get left behind.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan. Next up, we're going to hear from Keith Marciano with Sales Pitch. So let's take a look.
As a baseball player, you have to have the equipment, the tools to be successful. Baseball glove, a baseball bat, uniform, safety equipment, and a baseball, of course, just to name a few. Without them, you can't play the game. However, the equipment are the tools to allow you to play the game. They don't make you a great baseball player. Pax8 Marketplace is loaded with the best vendors in the managed service space that offer the finest solutions. These are the tools that your MSP needs to play the game. Just like baseball gear, it doesn't make the player. The solutions alone don't make your MSP. Those solutions solve business problems and create results for your clients. You just need to determine which ones do they care about out of the ones that you have. So, let's touch all the bases on how to pivot from solutions and tools to business conversations. 1. Ask questions. Instead of leading with the tool or the solutions and what they do, ask questions to determine if the buyer would value having the solution. Take their temperature. Where is the buyer's temperature between it's currently almost perfect and they need change immediately? 2. What's the problem? Does the buyer have problems in their business or with how technology runs their business? Is there a problem worth solving? Most good service tools start with a problem and then solve that problem. Which business problems do your tools solve? 3. What's the impact? How is that business problem impacting their company? What are the ramifications if they don't solve that problem and stick with the status quo? What are the logistical and emotional consequences our buyer would feel for that particular problem that we solve? 4. Value drivers. Tie the problem back to the value drivers all buyers care about: growing their business, improving efficiencies, and reducing risk. Keith's Pro Tip 4.5. Tighten the circle of impact. If the buyer has not experienced an impact personally, say a cybersecurity incident, they may not really care about your security solutions and may not see the value. If that's the case, you need to tighten the circle. Is there a company they know that experienced a cyber incident and they know that story? Tie it in. If there's no business problem, there's no sale to be made. You can have the best baseball bat in the world, but if you don't know how to effectively swing it, well, you're going to have a tough time hitting the ball. The combination of sales talent along with the tools that solve your business problems equal the success you need. If you want to learn how to improve your sales skills and hit the ball correctly and more consistently, reach out to me on LinkedIn or connect with your Pax8 account manager. Ask them about sales coaching. In the meantime, you can also listen to the Results Selling Framework podcast wherever you stream your podcast.
Thank you so much for watching our show. And thank you so much to Ryan Walsh for being our guest today and talking to us all about the Pax8 Marketplace. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.